welcome back to my channel. I've had a few questions about how to kind of change the color of labels, and it's not the easiest thing to do, and this is the only way I've kind of found to do it. So there may be an easier way that I come up with later, but for right now this is the only way I know how to do that. So I would always advise that you start with a transparent background, but it's entirely up to you. I prefer transparent because then I can just focus on my images. And at the bottom here I've got some different labels that I have from Graphics Fairy. I'm just going to pull a label up into my design space there, and at this point I'm just going to make it larger so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now then, so we need to make sure it's highlighted in the layers panel, and then come up to enhance, down to adjust color, and across to adjust hue and saturation. It will ask you if you want to simplify the layer. Say yes. And then you want to make sure that colorize is clicked in this box down here, and you immediately see that it's changed the color. Now what we're going to do is just scroll through until we find a colour that we like. There's quite a nice green at that point there, and then I can change the saturation as to how green I want that label to look. That's quite vintage looking. And then the brightness will obviously change the brightness, and this is useful if you want sort of a dark label like this, but if you want to keep the white in the center, then obviously, you know, don't mess around with this one too much. Okay, so I'm going to keep it on that one, and I'm going to click OK. Once I've done that, I'll just resize this. Okay, about there. Click OK, and then we can do the next one. Now if you wanted just a page full of those colored labels, you could do that, or you could do a couple of different colors. So if I bring this in again, just going to make it larger. And this won't work with every label. I'll show you in a second why. Okay, it'll work with something like this, but not with every label. You just have to kind of play around with it. So I'm coming up to enhance and adjust color, adjust hue and saturation. Yes, please simplify that there for me. Make sure colorize is clicked. Really important to remember. Okay, jot it down somewhere if you're making notes. Oh, look at that lovely blue. I like that. And it goes up to purple and pink. I think I kind of want a vintage brown color, so I'm just going to change the saturation now and the hue. There we go, until I get kind of the right brown. Lightness I'm okay with, and just bringing down that saturation slightly. Click OK. And then I'm just going to adjust the size of that one so it's the same size as that, which it is. Lovely. Click OK. So as you can see, you can just go through and create a whole set of labels like this. But I just wanted to show you the issue you might have with some labels. So for instance, this one here will not work. It's just black and white, it has white on it. Nothing you do is going to change that color. Okay, you really need to have color in the image to start with. So we'll just get rid of that one. I just want to pull up this one here, which is special handling label, and just make that a bit bigger so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Going straight up to enhance. Oh, it's not highlighted. If you do that, then you get all grayed out. If I show you again, look, it'll just grey out, and that means you know it's not highlighted in your layers panel. Enhance, adjust color, adjust hue and saturation. Yeah, to simplify, and then back in and make sure colorize is clicked. Okay, really important. So I'm just going to come along, and I like this blue that we found, but it may not be vintage enough for me. Let's kind of take that down a touch. That's kind of getting there a little, kind of a grey colour. It's kind of gone a bit green actually, so we need to move it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That one's okay. Let's look at the lightness, see if that will make a difference. See, that does make a difference with that particular object. So I could go for that grey, click OK. And again, I'm going to just resize to the size that I want. Just pop it down under my other labels. And that's fantastic. That's another one done. Okay, now if I go back into, I'll just let it do its business. I'm going to go back into the photo bin and show you one that does not work. Let me just adjust myself in my chair. Right, where are we? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Now, I'll show you why this one doesn't work. First of all, the background, as you see, is not white. Okay, it isn't white, it's kind of an off-white colour, and that is why this is going to cause you issues. Okay, we're going to click OK on that one. Now if I make sure it's highlighted, come up to enhance and the same settings that we used before, simplify that layer, and you can see now it's enlarged, that you can see that it is not white. We're going to click on colorize, and you can see it's actually going to change the colour of the actual bit where you write. It's not going to keep that the way you want it. I mean, sometimes you will come across one that works for you, like this kind of brown colour. You know, that's not too bad. That's kind of got like a grey tinge to it. Brightening it, it's again not too bad. You lose a little bit of detail, but again, it's not a bad go, but it doesn't work as well as the previous labels that we just used. But you know, it may go in a kit quite nicely if you're looking for something that will kind of just match in. So I'm just going to click OK on that one. And there you go. You just go through, and whatever label you have, we'll just bring this one up. Just play around with the hue and saturation. If you obviously want just a page of the same labels, then you can just duplicate whichever colour you like over and over again. And that's a nice way of adding a bit of extra something to your kits. You know, if you just say the same label, just change the colour each time, or do 5 of one colour, 5 of another. Click OK. And again, here we're making sure that colorize is clicked, and now I'm just going to go through and find a colour that I like. Definitely going to be down this end for vintage or kind of muted tones. Let's just bring that saturation back until I find the colour that I want. So I quite like that green. I'm going to just bring that saturation to where I want it. I'm going to bring the lightness just down a touch. Let's see. That's a tricky one to get a green right, I have to say, with this one, but that's quite nice. So we click OK. Again, I'm going to resize. Just going to make that one a little bit different. Plop that down there. And there you go. So that is how you would change the colour of your basic labels. And as I say, you can try it. The only thing you can't do with this particular Photoshop is you can't put in a hex code. And that means if you're picking up a colour from your dropper, you can't actually change the colour of the label using that, as far as I am aware. Should we try? I'm pretty sure you can't. If I go like this, let's see if I can. Oh, it's just picked up. Right, okay, so if we then pour the colour, you're going to find, I think, that the paint bucket won't work. Yeah. Oh, listen, no selected. Hang on, let's select a layer. Which one have we got selected there? Let's try that one. Hang on, let's go into here. Make sure I've got, there we go, I have got a layer selected. Right, if I go into paint bucket again and try and, oh, it does do it. I beg your pardon, I've learned something. It hasn't done the inner one though. So I guess that is another way of doing it. I've just found out a new way. Right, let's enlarge that and just see. So we've got, it kind of has, but kind of hasn't. Can you see it's kind of given this rough edge to it? Although that is quite nice. I do actually like that. Let's find this dark brown and see if we can do anything with this. See what it will do. No, you see on some of them, edit undo, on some of them it's not going to work. Let's try the parcel one that I've just clicked on down there. Yeah, so it's not going to work for everything. It worked for that first one, and I actually quite like that rough look that it's given it. It's quite nice, but yeah, this isn't the best way to do it because it just can't be precise enough. It's just literally covering the whole surface in that particular color. I'm just going to undo. Let's just Control Z it. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that so that we can go back to what we had before. Oh, let's edit. Redo. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't really work as well as this method, but there, you know, you need to fool around with it. We'll go over this paint bucket tool here for you a bit later, but I would stick with the method I've shown you for now because you know you can get great results and create the kind of ephemera that you want. And labels are a great way, again, of bulking up your kits. Bit of news, my next hopefully my next set of instructional videos will be on an advanced course for Photoshop, and also I'm hoping, depending on whether I get on my course, a business course to help you if you are planning on setting up an Etsy shop. A nice basic business course just to give you some pointers. So that's coming this year. I'm not sure when, but if you subscribe to my channel you will not miss anything, and make sure you ring that notification bell and you'll always have the news that I'm bringing on new trainings for all of you to get involved with. I hope you've enjoyed that today, guys. I hope that's helped you. Until I see you next time, craft yourself happy. Take care.